World History Discussions, Chapter 8, Part 4. We just talked about Confucianism, and now we're going to talk about the other major philosophy that rose in the 500s BCE during China's Warring States period, and that was Daoism, founded by Lao Tzu in this picture, who may or may not have existed, but that's what people imagine him to look like, riding on an ox to show how humble he was. So unlike Confucianism, Daoism considered it pointless to waste time and energy trying to solve societal issues, and instead they devoted their energy to reflection and introspection. Just like the Analects were the holy book of Confucianism, Daoism was the holy book of Daoism, or it was also known as classic of the way and virtue, and Dao means the way. It is attributed to Lao Tzu, but probably took several centuries to actually write and complete. Second most important Taoist work is Zhuangzi, which is named after its author, Zhuangzi, who lived between 369 and 286 BCE and provided a decent summary of Taoist views. So as I mentioned, the Tao is considered the way, or the way of nature. Taoists themselves never clearly defined exactly what the Tao is, but it's considered to be the original forces of the cosmos, and it's eternal and unchanging. Like water, water is soft and yielding, yet so strong it can erode even the hardest rocks in its path. Human beings should follow the principle of passiveness and not be ambitious. After all, human striving, aka politics, is what brought the world to its current state of chaos. The other major Taoist principle is that of wu-wei, and wu-wei means complete disengagement from the world. Persons should not acquire an advanced education. That's totally different from Confucianism, which is all about education, and they should refrain from striving, act selflessly, live simply and unpretentiously in harmony with nature. The less government, the better. Instead of expansive kingdoms and empires, the Daoism envisioned tiny, self-sufficient communities where people were so content that not only would they not desire to conquer other people, they would not even trade with other communities or even visit with their neighbors. Well, to say the least, the Taoists lost, if you look at the course of world history. In fact, in this very chapter, couple hundred years later, you're going to see China conquer not only East Asia, but much of Central Asia. I'm getting ahead of myself, so I guess they didn't listen to their own philosophy. I'm kind of being silly, but anyway, an excerpt from the Tao Te Ching over here does compare the Tao to water. Water does not strive, and it occupies the lowest places. As I mentioned earlier, it's soft, but it overcomes the hard. It's weak, but it overcomes the strong. I see a lot of parallels here between like Taoism and Christianity, like the weak shall be strong. There's a greater number of laws would lead to a greater number of thieves and robbers. That's in here. So basically, as long as I do nothing, the people will work out their own reformation. Work out your own salvation, anybody? Well, there's Taoism, basically in a nutshell. So Taoism was basically the perfect counterbalance to Confucianism, but neither were exclusivist philosophies. As a result, many individuals practiced both. They would study the Confucian curriculums. Let me go back to find the picture of Confucius right there. They would study the Confucian curriculums and hold administrative posts, but in their private lives. They would reflect on human nature and the place of people in the larger world. And the saying went, Confucians by day, Taoists by night. But there was one other major philosophy that came up during the period of warring states, and it was the one that would eventually bring unity to China. It's also my least favorite of the three, personally, and that would be legalism. We're going to talk about legalism in the very next discussion video. But you know what legalism basically is? Fascism. That's what they called it 2,200 years ago, and it would lead to the rise of the Qin dynasty and the end of the Warring States period. That's coming up next.